Amazing. It's really good to see you. We'll check in a second. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. I love it. Madalena and I is here again.
Greetings, everyone. Nice to
Amazing.
see
We're
you.
here. Yes, we're live. Yay. Um,
Yay!
uh, would you like to start, my love?
Yes, today I'm happy to join forces with Quantum Living Style to talk about detachment as a super
Power.
power in creating our lives, and also about forgiveness and the role um, it has when we talk about detaching in our lives. So we'll see how the conversations unfold, and I'm really excited about this topic.
Beautiful, as we're in Europe time. It's
Yeah,
12:12 right now as we're starting. I just look like 12:12. What a beautiful alignment.
yeah, it is.
So yeah, Madalena went for a theme, and I sat with it for a little bit, and it was interesting how we're all actually aligned. This week, even yesterday, through my calls, the attachment and detachment came up, especially through forgiveness,
Yeah,
detachment from the past stories, detachment from, being able not to live in your head anymore, detachment from the upbringing and that pain that, the parents and our environment kind of gave us, correct? So it's a big deal. And I feel like for me personally, detachment from the past stories. Yes, a lot of it it's mental as well, shifting those stories. Yet most of it for me, it's through forgiveness, and that's how I can move through it and let go. What do you feel about this, Madalena? Like, how do you feel about it?
for
What
me,
comes up for you, Ian?
I I truly believe that when having an open mind, when living with an open mind that is open to everything but attached to nothing, is the main key in living a, being in flow with life, to say. And the first time, let's say, I became the observer in my life, I really noticed changes. To be able to observe first rather than react, it brought me first in the present moment, to live life in the present moment. And it gave me this conscious creation. So when you detach from a situation, then you can see how you can deal with it in a better way. Because
Beautiful.
if we zoom out the reality, we often see that there is not such a big problem. It's more of the time is the mind creating the problem. So when we detach from a situation, we can see it clearly,
Clearly. Wow.
and we can deal with it from a place of presence. And so often things are not so tragic as they seem to be, as the mind makes them to be. And with observation, with zooming out the reality, we see the bigger picture. And we maybe sometimes, let's say, if somebody triggers something in us, we know we are not responsible for how others think. It is not, because if we react to everyone, then we give the power to themselves, and then we create more problems in our life. So I really believe that detaching is one of the main tools, to say, in personal growth, and in,
Transformation.
yes, in transformation, in living a more peaceful life. Because living a more peaceful life, it's what we all looking for nowadays in what's happening in the world. And we really want to find this inner strength, that no matter what happens in our life, we have developed the inner strength to deal with everything in a calmer way. So yes, detaching from thoughts, from negative patterns, and it all comes with being aware, bringing more awareness. And when you bring awareness into a situation, you really have this power to deal in a better way. That's how I dealt with my past situations. That's how I realized I'm not responsible for everyone's way of thinking and seeing the things, that the power is in me. I have this power to choose. And if there is something that someone triggered in me, it is my responsibility to heal it, to see it, and to change it. And detachment helps you to do that. And of course, then we talk about forgiveness. We talk about, I mean, for me, forgiveness, I've talked about on my videos many times. It really changed the perspective in life. Because let's be honest, we all have something to forgive in our life. None of us have perfect lives, but we can do something to live better ways in flow, to be in flow with life, to take each situation as it comes and deal with it in the best manner, so that we bring good for us and good for the others. Yes.
Amen. Amen.
And I read this from Lao Tzu. It says that if we control our mind, then life works better. A mind left uncontrolled, unchecked, creates more suffering.
Yes.
But with detachment and observing the patterns, they say we can change them. Without that, it's hard.
Yeah. There are a few things that came up when you were talking and sharing and expressing your experiences as well.
Yes.
Um, Absolutely yes to all of it. And I will add quite a bit. In one way, yes, forgiveness is leaning into forgiveness, leaning into compassion, practicing awareness. Wow, without awareness, being inside of the situation, being detached to the situation, you will not see it clearly for sure. We get to step out of the box, right? Like the fish doesn't know that it's in water unless it's out of water. Yet, taking it even further, and that's what kind of came up for my masterclass yesterday and on a few calls. So many of us are attached to the stories in the past, to the pain in the past, to the upbringing, right? Like how the parents did this to us and this to us, and how we were abandoned and not seen and not heard. Hence, we keep dragging the past into the future. If we don't have attachment in the past, it will be easy to not have attachment into the future as well, right? Because then
Yeah.
I don't see the future through the lens of my past. And if I don't see the future through the lens of the past, here I go. Every day is a clean canvas.
Yeah.
I wake up and I create whatever I want. So I will dive a little bit into that detachment, maybe through forgiveness, even, or simply detachment of the past. Yesterday, a few things came up for a couple of my clients, like how do I forgive my parents? Like how do I forgive? Like how do I move through this pain? My head understands, but my heart still aches, and my patterns are still old, and I still react and all these stuff. And it's all this journey of ours is a paradox. It is. It is what it
Mhm.
is. It's an
Mhm.
absolute tragedy and comedy at the same time. And that's how I see it. And yes, forgiveness. Yet if you really zoom out from the source space, from a higher consciousness, higher self, you will see that there is nothing really to forgive. It all unfolded perfectly just the way it was supposed to. First of all, we came on and agreed to take up on the ancestors' healing into
Mhm.
our own hands or hearts. Uh, Second of all, Earth did not support higher frequencies and higher energy when our parents were born, when our grandparents were born. The Earth itself was in a Kali age, a very dense age. Most of us do know the stories and upbringing of our parents, grandparents, great grandparents. I mean, the things they went through doesn't even come close to what we went through. the way they were not seen and not loved, the way they didn't have any information about what could be.
Yes. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, us, we're saying that we're adults, and we're saying that we're adults and suffering because of this and that and them in the past. And we're calling ourselves adults. And the possibilities that is in this age right now, take take the technology.
Yeah.
There is information everywhere for us. I mean, you can meditate for free, do yoga for free, read for free, create communities like at your fingertips. So imagine me right now sitting with all of these possibilities, being able to flip the script, not being able to release the emotion, and yet continue focusing on blaming someone that really didn't have even 1% of possibility that we have today.
Mm.
So I cannot do it in this age of information where everything is reachable within the seconds,
Yeah.
and we are mad at them. Really? We dare to say that I need to forgive them? Forgive what?
Mm.
They were as abandoned and more so. They were as abused and more so. They were as not seen, as not loved and more so. And they didn't have the information in the fingertips. They didn't have a friend that came in and said, hey, look, I have this Ladzo book. We grew up in Soviet Union. They were burning even Lithuanian books. What are you talking about? It wasn't allowed. Nothing was allowed for them.
Yes.
Earth couldn't even hold a higher frequency energy. People, we're not going to go into, the asylums and how many are locked up, how many drank themselves to death because they were sensitive. They felt the misalignment. They felt that it could be differently, but they didn't have a chance. That's why we're here. Ancestors chose us to come in. So who am I now to forgive them? If I'm sitting in this age and time, sitting with Madalena, having my own coach, having all these courses, even for free online, right? Being able to tune in into so much of information,
Yes.
being able to have so much support of higher consciousness. And I will say, I can't do it because of them.
Mm.
That's where, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I want
Yeah.
everyone to
I
look
truly
at, like,
believe. Yeah.
what are you really forgiving?
Yes, I agree. We are not here to find the culprit of the mistakes in our life. We are here to correct the wrong ideas, maybe, that we have about life. Because, to be honest, the gift of life that was given to us is perfect. What we were not given is like a manual of instructions of
Absolutely.
how to live it.
Yes.
And for me, this was very eye-opening. And when I began to search for answers, is because I knew there is more to life than what we were taught to believe.
Yeah.
And so the only work that we have to do to improve our lives is to see that we have these wrong ideas and to let go.
Not wrong. Let's not make anything wrong or right. There's no wrong or
Not
right.
wrong.
Yeah.
Some
Misaligned. It's just,
misaligned. Yes,
and
misaligned.
we're not
Yeah.
we're not utilizing our potential to maximum. And now
Yes.
we're
Yes.
able to. Besides that, Earth supports it. Besides that, there is information everywhere, and you can actually go and seek for it, right? Like if you really
Yes.
decide. Hence, that's if you really look at it, it is impossible not to disattach. Like it is easier to disattach because what am I still attached to?
Mm.
What story am I still attached to if again they did the maximum
Yes, of
and
course.
now I'm going to do the maximum. Whatever abilities I'm gonna tune in. Again, no wrong or right. Everyone has their own journey. Yet check in, everyone, let's check in. In fact, let's check in right now. Madalena, are you open?
Dropping the story. Yes.
Yeah. Take a deep breath in, all of you who's watching. Close
Yeah.
your eyes for a moment and let's look at all of our attachments, the labels that we were given. The labels we were given, our parents had the same ones as well.
Yes.
Even deeper, even harsher, even less support. The structure that we are given, it's so much lighter. And yet they were given as well, you know? And the future and the future generations right now depends on us not to pass along what we're so mad at the last generation. So again, we're mad at the last generation while we're passing it all along to the future. We're doing the same thing and we're still mad at the past. And it's ridiculous not to see it and disattach. You know, you can't be mad that world is giving you pain and give back the pain to the world.
Yeah.
That it doesn't work that way. If somebody puts labels on me, and actually recently somebody asking me about my story and was like, wow, interesting. I don't really share my story because I never felt like it's about me. I know my mission, yet it came up so beautifully because I was a very sensitive kid. And, yeah, it's funny. We're still laughing with my mom because my mom was like, always used to tell everyone, wow, she's too sensitive. I don't know what's going to happen with her. Like, she's too sensitive for this world. and, and the pain that I saw and felt, the labels that I got, the dismissal that I got, this heart never closed. And I promised to myself, because it's so painful, because it's like so cruel, it feels so cruel, like it's impossible that there's no other way. There's no way I'm gonna give it back to the world. I'm not. Anything I feel I don't want that I get, there's no way I can't give it back to the world. I gotta give something else. So if you're suffering what you're getting, why are you giving back? We're just perpetuating it. Here you go. That's another story for you supporting for this attachment. Like, I'm doing the same thing and I'm still attached to what was and what is, and I'm still very mad about it. So, yes, we get to move through these feelings. Yes, we get to allow ourselves to be mad. Yes, we get to allow to cry. Yes, we get to allow maybe to even sit in the forgiveness. And when we move step by step through all of these little layers, that's when you get to the point where you zoom out totally and you're like, huh? There was really nothing to forgive. I mean, again, I'm speaking only from my experience. So please, everyone, take whatever resonates with us.
Yes.
That doesn't resonate, I'm not. I would never ask anyone again to believe or to take my words. Yet that was in the beginning was a lot of tears and the forgiveness and moving through the pain and moving through the triggers. That is just a portal to your next level, by the way. And at this point, you're like, there is nothing to forgive. The only person or being I can continue forgive is me because I am the one that kept holding on to these attachments and this pain
Mm.
while I was always free. And only our minds, as Madalena shares so beautifully, is the programming. And the more we live in this head, and the more we will be attached to the past, to the future. And there is no way for us. I mean, I don't see a way for us to build a different future if you're still attached to the past and keep dragging the past into
There
tomorrow.
is a beautiful statement that says, I release the pattern that created in me this condition. I
Beautiful.
set myself free
Free.
of this pattern. And in this present moment, we have this choice. If a pattern comes, to replace it with a positive pattern. I am not my past, and I choose to release any patterns that didn't help me. So yes, we have this choice, and I always believe that the point of power for us is in the present moment,
Amen.
and we can make a meditation from our life. And
Amen.
sometimes the mind can come up and uh, with difference, but we have to stay present and realize that we are not a conditioned mind. We can rise above that.
We
And
can go ahead.
yes, it's always a wheel inside of us. For me, it was this search that I've done for years. And of course, with the search came more understanding. But when you even stop and see that in this moment you are actually well, it's only some conditioning that is preventing you from seeing the reality as it is, then you are free. You can be free.
Absolutely.
And I encourage everyone to be present, more present in their life, whether it's with relationships, whether with the children, whether in the work that they are doing, giving fully yourself there and doing the best. It is really one of the greatest things you can do for yourself.
Amen. I love it. And yeah, as we said, detachment is the superpower. Um, it doesn't mean, and you don't have to get it eh, right and aligned fully overnight or over a week. It
Yeah.
is a dance, it is a practice. It's
Yes,
about
it is a
embodiment.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Embodiment will take, a little tango. Because if Madalena and I now start learning tango, if two of us start learning, we will both be stepping on each other's toes for a few months for sure. Even if we have a professional teacher, right? He might not step on us, but we'll be stepping on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get frustrated at some times. Sometimes we're not going to get into the rhythm and all these stuff. So, all these triggers and attachments and stories, they're not wrong. They're not bad. They're simply showing what we came to transcend. They're simply showing where our power lies, where our potential is. And because again, we came here for duality. There's nothing else. There's nothing. We came here to
It
experience
is like
that.
that, yes. It's
Yeah.
50-50, 50% negative, 50% positive. But we have this capacity to,
Equilibrium.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you meet, like for me, what started to be much easier to disattach and even move through the triggers or pain, it was starting to accept every emotion as equal.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sadness, I don't treat it as like, oh, I'm sad because I'm sad, right?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, sadness, what is it telling me? Right? What is it telling me? What is it showing me?
Embracing,
Where am I
embracing all
feeling?
of them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
embracing the pain, because the pain is the doorway to freedom, is the doorway to that inner peace.
Yep. Next level.
And when we have that inner peace, there's no way that our lives are not better. I mean, there is already.
Well, that's the new success. Amen. That's the only success, really.
Yes.
Because if you start anything from inner peace, relationship, right? Family, business, your mission, that's literally how it's going to ripple. It's going to be harmonious. It's going to add value to you, to other. Things will come easy. You don't need to go out and seek for it. People, the right people come, possibilities come. So yeah, inner peace, absolutely.
And finding joy, because I think the greatest currency in our life is to feel more joy in our life.
Amen.
The nature of life is so transitory, and instead of attaching to things, let's detach and let's be here and now and feel more joy, feel more alive for our life, and grateful. And by doing that every single day, you can see the ripple, and more blessings are unfolding in our lives, and more good things will show up. And in general, you will be able to detach easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And detachment of how it's supposed to be. If you know exactly how it's supposed to be, you will miss the whole truth, the whole essence, right? Again, if for me, love looks just like that, no matter in front of me, it could stand the biggest, hugest, most expansive love. I won't see it because it that's not how my love looks like, right? And my I am attached to. So yeah, absolutely. Detachment is a superpower. Presence and stillness is the hugest value we can give ourselves and other. Either it takes you to detach through the forgiveness, either through your mental story and rewriting, either is just leaning into unknown and compassion and allowing that free fall for yourself, right? Trust, because control is the biggest illusion. And thank you for bringing that up, Madalena, of like everything is always changing. That is the only constant. There is nothing constant, only the change is. And if you allow yourself to surf through these waves, you will be able to enjoy it.
Yes, and it's a remembrance, Roma.
Amen. Yeah.
Um, because I think we are whole, we are complete, we are
Always.
enough. We've just been programmed not to know that from
Amen.
the beginning, and
Amen.
um, it
Amen.
is it is a remembrance of who we are, and I think that's why we are here after all.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the lifetime that we can rise together. Imagine like if all of us put aside all these distractions on competing, comparing, gossiping, being mad, being attached, right? Not trusting and fully focus within into our inner peace, like all this unfolding gets, it's already quickening, it's
Yes,
already pretty fast, yet we can be there dancing by the fire all as one, like no tomorrow, very fast.
yes,
So my invitation today, and then Madalena can share whatever she feels like, as we're going to close out the call. My invitation today, yes, look at your attachments. Allow yourself to see it clearly. Allow yourself to go on a mini self inquiry, right? Where the pain is, where the trigger is, where the jealousy is, right? Where the comparison is. Like if I'm comparing myself to something, right? I probably want this, right? If I'm jealous here, there's probably my potential right there. If I'm sad about this, probably came to transcend this. So see them clearly and then ask yourselves, what does your inner child and this programming, right, needs right now to release it, to expand, to feel safe. Your inner child to feel safe. Again, maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's practicing your own trust with yourself. Maybe it is a conversation. Maybe it's a journal and simple presence and allowing to feel it all. Shifting your story, right? Whatever that is, there are so many tools, there are so many modalities. Reach out for support. There's so many of us out there already, and I'm not even talking only about mentors, right? There are coaches and mentors. Madalena as well is supporting and holding such a beautiful space for anyone that wants to come and purge. Come and purge with us, right? Come and be whatever you want to be, and allow yourself to find that equilibrium. Yet there's more and more people in higher consciousness that are looking for each other right now. Like, hey, that's how I'm feeling. That's what's unfolding. That's what's happening. So yeah, allow yourself to feel into what is needed for you in that moment now to transcend whatever you need to transcend to get to your vision, whatever that vision is. Amen. Magdalena. And so it is and so be it. I celebrate all of you through this journey so
yes,
much. Go ahead, baby girl.
so beautiful. And to let go of this need to do more, to have more, and step back into being more. Because every
Amen.
time I go into nature, I realize that nature doesn't rush. Everything moves slowly, and it has a rhythm, and is imbued with this intelligence of the universe.
Beautiful.
That if that intelligence is in nature, that intelligence exists in us. We just need to look at it and see that we really are miracles of life,
Yeah.
and to
Um,
enjoy every moment and try our best. There is no right or wrong. Everyone's path is different, but everyone has the capacity to improve and to detach a little bit from this mundane. Thank
Uh,
you for
I love,
everyone if you tuned
yeah,
in.
just a second.
Yes.
I love what you said, not to rush, especially now that the quickening is happening.
Yeah.
If you try to hold on and rush and get it all done, you will be actually lost
Yeah.
deeply. The more we slow down right now, the clearer we'll see the chaos, the easier will be to be the eye of the storm, to be in that equilibrium, and transcend everything. So thank you for bringing this up. And before we close, I would like to, for all of us, to tune in some gratitude. So take a deep breath in and maybe your hands on your heart. Maybe if you want to see things clear, more clear, one on the third eye, one on your heart. Or if you really want to purge and support and holding a lot of sadness or anger, one hand on your belly and one on your heart, right? So it's whatever you are. I'm gonna go on my heart. So I am infinitely grateful for every ancestor in my lineage, from whatever they went through, for pushing through it all and being able to choose me and to have me here, because it wouldn't be given to me if I can't. So thank you. Thank you for trust. Thank you for empowerment. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you even for the contrast, because contrast every time I see the paradigm that I don't like, or the pain that I don't want anymore, it allows me to step into something different, because I know now that I have a choice. Thank you for all of you who didn't have a choice. Um,
Thank you.
because again, we do. And we're infinitely grateful for this beautiful realm unfolding so fast, rising into our higher consciousness, for every brother and sister that's going through this hero's journey of remembering. I'm grateful for all of us connecting, and I'm grateful for our vessels and our bodies being able to expand so beautifully. Thank you for our minds
Thank you.
that shows us where we are not present, right? And I'm grateful for all our hearts, that no matter how much pain we carried, it keeps opening up wider. And so we rise together, because if Madalena rises, I rise. If I rise, we all start to rise. And
And
so, and
so
so,
be it. Thank you. Thank you all if you tuned in. Have a great day.
bye, beauties.